Let's take now back to one of our top stories. The Democratic Alliance has reiterated its calls for investigations into all the contracts and procurement processes at the Johannesburg Roads Agency during Kenny Kunene's tenure. This follows Kunene's resignation as the Transport MMC and his suspension from his party. DA's Joburg Caucus leader, Belinda Kayser-Echeozonjoku, joins me now for this discussion. Belinda Kayser-Echeozonjoku, thank you very much for your time. The MMC and councillor has resigned voluntarily to allow his name to be cleared. Is this a commendable and an honourable decision by the MMC?
Good evening, Thabo, and good evening to the viewers. Well, as we said, we note it because what has happened is that the DA has obviously written to the mayor last week to request that MMC Kunene, who is now former MMC Kunene, resign, or if he's refusing to resign, then the mayor should use Section 60 of the Municipal Structures Act and utilize his power to fire him. So he's now requested, obviously he's now resigned as a councillor as well, and this will give time for investigations to happen not only in their internal processes, because we are not very perturbed about any political party's internal processes, but the city processes must still continue, and that is why we have given the executive mayor 7 days to respond to us with regards to our demands that certain processes in the Department of Transport in the city of Joburg be investigated.
I suppose his party is, of course, investigating internally his association with the alleged murderer, or either investigating, I suppose, how he would have responded to that. What do you want investigated, and how does it link to the revelations of this association the MMC has with a suspect?
Look, Thabo, any political party internal processes is frankly irrelevant for us as the DA in this case, because every party has their processes. What we are concerned about is the fact that an MMC who is sitting in the city executive, who is working on the delegation of the executive mayor, already we have a situation where public trust already is at an all-time low, and finding an MMC was in an influential position in the city of Johannesburg, working with the delegations of the executive mayor, being found in a murder suspect house. And at this point, we don't even know if that murder suspect is possibly either doing business with the city of Johannesburg, or if the person has any links to the Patriotic Alliance in terms of possibly getting contracts and things like that. So for us, it's a matter of good governance. We want this moral dilemma and ethical dilemma out of the way, and we have requested for the investigation into procurement practices based on information that we became aware of some time back, and it's unfortunate that the issue of the murder suspect and the MMC being present at his house is now part of it. But it's information that has already, we've queried some information some months back about issues in JRA, MTC, and also the whole Lillian Ngoyi situation, where they are now the second contractor that is working on that rehabilitation of that road.
As in that resignation letter to the Speaker, the former MMC is giving us account of his 2-year tenure, and he says, I worked as a force for good, 1, championing accessible transport, 2, confronting inefficiencies, 3, and challenging systemic rot within our institutions. It counts 4 things there that he says he could have done right. How would you score him on those 4 items that he's itemizing in his resignation letter?
It's unfortunate that the MMC is once again playing to the gallery like he always was doing as an MMC, with his PR stunts that he's done when he does these integrated, oversights. Firstly, let's look at Lillian Ngoyi and how long that is done. Firstly, there's already 215 million rand that has been spent on Lillian Ngoyi. The first contractor that was on that project has spent quite a bit of money, was terminated, and the city is not able to get that money back. Why was this contractor not reported to National Treasury for not completing the work and things like that? The second issue, 80% of Johannesburg's bridges are in a poor condition, and 23 of those bridges are at the risk of closure. If the MMC has done such a good job, you would have ensured that you and I don't have to worry that when we go on any bridges in the city of Johannesburg, that their own reports are not telling us that 80% of those bridges are in a bad condition. The third issue that we have a challenge with is MTC. MTC, I have raised issues myself with regards to the irregularities, the procurement processes, and the fact that MTC is sitting in the Department of Transport when it should not be in that department. There are massive issues of irregularities that we have raised concerns, not only in the committee, Section 79 committees, but also raised directly. And in fact, the arrogance from some of these senior officials who who's been recorded saying that they will deal with that Belinda, for example. So these are the kind of situations we are finding in the city where there is such a lack of accountability, and when councillors are raising legitimate issues of governance and maladministration or possible maladministration and corruption, we are, basically seen with disdain. So MTC, there's a whole list that I've even received as I'm speaking here today that, whistleblowers are sharing some of the information that of issues of irregularities that are happening at MTC, which will also obviously go into a bit more detail, reports that are being manipulated, quotes that are coming into the bid evaluation committee, where members of that committee go into evaluations with already quotes, and then that supplier also gets the contract. And some of the pricing has been amended and things like that. So those are some of the things that this MMC has been the custodian of, and we're saying we can hardly give him even a 3 out of 10 because of everything he's done was just playing to the gallery and not proper service delivery to the residents of Johannesburg.
Now, of course, the Joburg city is a coalition government with the ANC at the helm and, of course, other smaller parties. The removal of Kenny Kunene is not the removal of the Patriotic Alliance in that coalition arrangement. So they are likely to field another candidate who will occupy that particular position. So why do you think the removal of Kenny Kunene will improve accountability?
The issue of whether it is one particular party, it's not a matter of a party. We know that there are coalitions in Johannesburg, and we know that there's different parties within that coalition. What we are concerned about is the fact that a member of the executive is found at a house where there's a murder suspect. We also have concerns with regards to accountability and the possible influence that people with questionable character that are, in this case, a very high-profile murder is having in the city itself. And the fact that the MMC's judgment in terms of being found in a compromising position like that is an issue for us. The issue of coalitions, we will not run away from. We will always have coalitions in the city of Johannesburg, and possibly, we have it at national government as well now. What we do have a problem is the delegation and the power of the executive mayor to be able to appoint and remove MMCs being almost usurped by a coalition team that then dictates how governance should happen in the city of Johannesburg. We're saying irrespective of who is in government, irrespective of who is in the coalition. There is a Municipal Systems Act, there's a Constitution, and there's a Municipal Structures Act. Whatever decisions are made cannot violate any piece of legislation that governs local government. So irrespective of which political party is there, and which coalition is at play, things must be done properly, and good governance is not negotiable. And we will continue to hold anybody who is put in that portfolio to account. And that is why we're saying that all those contracts, all those procurement processes must still be investigated, irrespective of who the governing coalition decide to field in that portfolio.
So you think Kenny Kunene in his person will be held accountable for those contracts, whether in or out of political arena?
What I'm saying is that the mayor is the 100% shareholder in all the entities of the city of Johannesburg. And one of the reasons why we have said to the mayor, he's got 7 days to act, because Kenny Kunene was working at his delegation. All MMCs are appointed at the delegation, and the powers of certain powers are given to them. That is just like the executive mayor. So he serves at the delegation of the executive mayor. So if there are any irregularities, obviously the mayor will also then have to account, because any MMC that is serving at any entity in the city of Johannesburg serve at the mayor's delegation. And it would be a failure of the mayor not to take the concerns from residents and the concerns that we are raising as the Democratic Alliance seriously, to investigate and possibly terminate some of these contracts or blacklist some of these contractors where there are irregularities found. There are court precedences on people who are officials and in and out of government that have been held accountable. So if there are irregularities, we will encourage the mayor to also, for himself, not to be held accountable, to ensure that money is recovered where necessary, if that is the case as well.
Belinda, appreciate your time. Let's leave it there. DA's Joburg Caucus leader, Belinda Kayser-Echeozonjoku there.